Fishing news is brought to you by Navionics, Okuma, and Yozori.
The drum roll, please. We have the first registered keeper striper brought into Absecon Bay Sportsman Center on opening day, March 1st, 2019. A snowy March 1st opener, but an obvious fresh fish, still limp and shiny and wiggling on the way into the shop. I'm Jim Hutchinson with the New Jersey Delaware Bay edition of the Fisherman magazine, and that Mullica River 28-incher that tabbed the scale at just 7.5 pounds, 7.6 pounds. That's a great eating fish. This opening day winner at Absecon Bay Sportsman was Beau Bosley. Dave tells me Beau had a good bite of white perch on those bloodworms as well as this keeper striper. Now, if you think back to some of the previous opening day striper seasons, a lot of those first fish were taken from that artificial warmth, right? A little farther north, perhaps, up at Oyster Creek, that decommissioned nuclear power plant, not producing the warm water. But I'll tell you, this year has been mostly warm, mild at least I should say. It's cold this week, second week in March, but a milder winter leaves more holdover stripers that are getting active early. The toms, the Tuckahoe along the Great Egg, and of course the Mullica. Still waiting to hear of some action at Graveling Point, but I'm sure they're there. Even along the Delaware, Steve Polidor, he hit some of his favorite stretches of the Delaware River last weekend with some bloodworms. Did well. Steve's always on that bite and will continue for the next couple of months. Along the Raritan, too. Getting some reports up there. Joe Jr. at Julian's, he heard of one keeper that was actually plugged up along the stretch near Leonardo. Spoke with Phil at the tackle box. He said mostly shorts, but those bloodworms are taking some short fish, mostly around Union, Cliffwood Beach, farther into Keyport. I spoke to Steve at Upfront Bait and Tackle, who was selling a bundle of bloodworms since the opening day. Just had those tight-lipped anglers not reporting back. Did hear from a few folks on the upper stretches of Barnegat Bay as well. Said there are a few bass around the Mantoloking Bridge. They're also taking bloodworms by day and also at night. Good sign for some of those resident stripers. Good eating size before the big girls arrive sometime next month. That's right. It's not too early to start thinking about some of those big fish that arrive on the tails of some of those herring and the bunker that'll be staging, especially along the Raritan before heading up for the spawn. Stripers, perch, and winter flounder in the toms as well. Spoke to Dennis at Hook House Bait and Tackle in Toms River. He had Mark Chamberlain weigh in the first of the season. Winter flounder of 1.26 pounds. Dennis also said there are a few guys having luck tossing some plugs around for some short stripers in the toms. Rapala X-Raps, the Kettle Creek swing shads. Just remember, nice and slow, very slow. Still a little bit cold. I'll tell you, this little cold snap we had should affect us a little bit too. But just make sure you're careful if you're fishing along the Island Beach stretch. Apparently, local town is already enforcing their beach badge restrictions. That's what Dennis tells me. So you're going to be fishing on that Island Heights side of the Toms River. You can thank the bureaucrats for that. Hey, here's more stuff on the regulatory side. I've spoken to a lot of folks who don't like to go targeting winter flounder because it's only a 2-fish bag limit. But I'll tell you what, if you're fishing the bulkheads or the docks with a couple of friends, kicking back on a sunny day, it's well worth wetting a line. Alan Gonzalez showed off what is in store for you. Chunky fish. They might be only 2 fish, they may be small, but they're chunky. And at least you can get 4 good fillets out of that. As for the other flounder of the summer variety, New Jersey Marine Fisheries Council will meet Thursday, March 7th, 5 p.m. in Mantoloking. That's at the Stafford Township Municipal Building at 260 East Bay Avenue. Now, the Mid-Atlantic Fishery Management Council has already figured out by the time you see this what they're going to do with summer flounder. So at this meeting on Thursday night, we should find out more about our potential fluke changes or whether we're going to be status quo. I expect we'll know more by the end of the week, Thursday night for sure. We will have more of that posted at thefisherman.com or over at our Facebook page as soon as we have breaking news. Might even have a video update sometime later this week. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Not just the weekly email alerts, but also make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, let's head out west and check in with George, the Pocono Outdoors guy.
Hey, thanks, Jim. We have a couple of really good points to touch on this week. First off, the northern counties with ice are still holding strong. I got reports of 6 to 12 inches of ice, and the guys are still catching great stringers of panfish and perch, so get up there and try it if you want to hit the ice. Southern tier in the Poconos, you can see behind me lots of open water, but there is some ice to be had in the coves and backwaters if you look. Just be careful if you hit that. Now in Jersey, all the talk is about the stripers, and here in Pennsylvania as well, we're starting to hit them. Here's our own Josh Taylor. You can see pulling one through the ice. Well, that's a great catch for sure. Also, you guys, trout. The Pennsylvania Fish Commission is starting to stock trout already, so if that's what you're into, you guys got to get out. Season opens in a handful of southeastern counties on March 30th and statewide April 15th. There's a link below here you can check out when and where to catch trout in your area. And lastly, shad on the Delaware. I'm hearing unconfirmed reports of shad starting to move in. It'll only be a couple more weeks, guys, and we'll have good numbers of shad in the Delaware River. There's a lot going on. Be sure to stay with us. From Pennsylvania, I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy.
And don't forget, too, you've also got some walleye up there on the upper Delaware as you're waiting out the shad arrival. Checked in with the folks at Hook House again. John Berlinski had a nice marble eye reported up there just over the weekend. And of course, you got some smallmouth action as well. Now, I mentioned earlier in the week we sent out an email alert about some of the events going on this weekend. Let's run down that stretch real quick. We've got John DeBona from the Fisherman is going to be out at the Philadelphia Boat Show in Oaks, PA, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Hook you up with those Sea Striker pliers, maybe a Star Rods dry bag if you get your new and renewing subscription to the Fisherman magazine. Also, Rich Dunn is going to be at the Asbury Park Fishing Club's annual fishing flea market, the 27th annual show at Convention Hall from 9 till 2. This is the original plug show, folks, for you casters and collectors. Certainly worth a trip. Now, I'm going to try to get back down here on Sunday to Bass River, Viking Yachting Center, Valhalla Yacht Sales on Sunday, March 10th. They've got a marina mixer and open house with those folks. I tell you what, come down and check out the new Skeeter line and all the contender boats. They're going to splash them in the water. If you want to call ahead, you can get one of the sea trials. You want to call ahead to get a sea trial, 609-296-2388. Tour the grounds, sign up for a free slip here at Viking Yachting Center, check out the on-water display, and maybe do a sea trial of one of these great boats as well. And also stop in and warm up at Breezes here on the Bass River. It's a great dock and dine location for folks fishing the Mullica, Great Bay, Little Bay, or Absecon. I'm going to get in there and warm up right now. Learn more about Valhalla Yacht Sales or Valhalla Boat Sales, but especially Valhalla Boat Works. Brand new center console line coming later this year. It's in the March edition of the Fisherman magazine. You could read the story there, that monster edition of the Fisherman magazine March. It's loaded with everything you need to know about catching fish right now, and also some of the stuff that's coming up. Got some good how-to projects too to keep you busy this month. For some of these days, they're still a little chilly. Now next week, we're going to be coming to you from Edison for that 3-day saltwater fishing expo. It's going to be a biggie. Can't wait for that event. So make sure you come by and see us out there. Until then, enjoy the weekend, catch them up, and we will see you again over at thefisherman.com.
Don't even mind that, baby.